Excellent. Okie doke. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the October coffee morning. It's great to see so many of you on the call, as usual. Great attendance. I'm sure most of you do know me by now, but just for the people that don't, my name is Samantha Grant, and I'm a director at the IAB. And I'll be hosting today's session. I guess I was just going to start before I introduce our speakers today. I was having a bit of a taste of fame at Accountex in Manchester with so many coffee morning guests coming over to say hello. So thank you for those that did. I really enjoyed the show. I don't know about anybody else. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more than London. It was very nice and buzzy, but still having the opportunity to speak to lots of people, spread the IAB word. It was a really nice pace. So it was great for those that you could make it. It was really good to see you. A few observations from Manchester I thought I'd share. Anyone wants to share their observations, please do put them in the chat. But I thought there was a few constant themes running through the event. MTD, obviously, and that's a topic that we'll be covering off in this session. Also AML, again, always widely discussed. And I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to flag. Many of you should have received your issue of IAB Connect on the doormat. So please look out for an article about practical ways to stay alert. This is an article written by the compliance team at the IAB about threats on a local level. So really a good read just to kind of talk about anti-money laundering, arguably in plain sight, and ways you can be vigilant. Also, there was quite a lot about business scalability on their big fold-out concertina map. There are about 2 or 3 sessions talking about people who've effectively scaled their practice. So it was a reminder that obviously IAB also have this this option, this course and support for you as members. From Sarah. So Sarah has followed a business scalability framework, which she has tried and tested. We have spoken about this previously. And the tasters in the ambassador groups went down really well. So, please do review the trailer to get a taste of what's an option. It's a video-based course that you can dip in and out of. And as I say, it's been really well received for the people that have interacted with it. So I'll put the trailer in the chat. It can be purchased from the shop. It's a small cost, really to cover our costs. Just a reminder that it is open to the IAB to get that scalability support. So on to our speakers. We have 2 fantastic speakers this morning. I feel both bringing real value and valuable insights and advice from their specialist areas. So first off, I'm delighted to welcome Nick Cheen from Capium. He's their Director of Product and Growth. So for those who follow the IAB socials, you'll have seen that we announced a few weeks ago that at the end of August, early September, Capium had their first successful self-assessment quarterly return for UK property and self-employment tax. So it's a real milestone for Capium as a HMRC approved software. As we move towards MTD and being an IAB member benefit, we thought we'd get Nick in to just bring you up to date on what's been happening at Capium with regards to all things MTD. So he's going to be taking us through the latest developments in their software, but also obviously in his role, he gets access to lots of different practices, people at different stages of the MTD process. So he's going to be sharing those insights and myths that he's gathered from across the industry, and just basically, showing you what options you have from a Capium software perspective. So something in there for everyone, I think, regardless of what stage of the process that you're at. And then our second speaker will be Matthew Chapman. He's a director at Company Protection. So as we were just mentioning there before we started, back in July, Matt introduced us to a great new tool that he developed. And what was great about it, although it is a great tool, is that it was developed with input from IAB ambassadors, all about how to support you in delivering more advisory services, but more importantly, generating additional revenue streams. So I'm sure Matt will talk about it, and I won't steal his thunder, but some of the feedback we got was kind of like confidence in offering additional advisory services, and just speaking to clients about those kind of things when you're kind of used to speaking to in kind of like quite a relatively one-dimensional way, or the ways in which you've always offered your services. So this tool and this approach is there to kind of help support you in that. And since July, Matt has been running a series of small workshops. I don't know if they were weekly, but I know they're on a Friday. And
every month, every month. That's Friday,
okay. Yeah, every month on a Friday, and they proved to be very successful. I'm sure he's going to be sharing what's in those updates, but they're quite quick, quite punchy, and they're designed to be very supportive. So he's going to share how you can get involved in that and benefit from that. So I'm going to move over to you first, Nick. If that's okay.
Sure thing. Firstly, thank you, Sam, and the IAB team for having me.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to provide a bit more clarity on the successful submissions we've done so far. So we've done for the first quarter for the current tax year for all income sources. So we've had successful submissions using our bridging solution. And just as I start to show the product, I just want to add a few caveats. There may be some spelling errors or some data may look a little bit funky because this is pretty much an exclusive. Products are being released all the time, and I have one that I will be able to show you, which was a bit close to the edge whether we're going to be able to show it, but we can, thankfully. And so I'm just going to share my screen now, and just someone just reassure me that they can see the product.
All yeah, good, we can see your screen. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So first and foremost, I just wanted to touch upon digital record keeping and why that's important. So digital record keeping is actually the one-line transactions behind the submission. And some of the confusion that we've had from some of our customers and the people who've helped us with this product is what actually constitutes a digital record. Okay, so you can use a spreadsheet. Your clients can use a spreadsheet to record their digital records, or they could use a bookkeeping software to record those transactions there. Even better if they have a picture of those receipts or invoices, so then they can upload it into the product as well. So first and foremost, I just want to show you about a client. So when you register a client for MTD income tax, you've got to do all that legwork through I think it's the agent services account. And bear in mind, it takes about 5 minutes per client to set up. In that, HMRC will pull some information, what they already have on that client, and then they'll set up these things called businesses, which may be known as just income sources, okay? Now, so the first part of your journey, not just in Capium, but in any software, would be just authorizing the software, okay? So you just need to go through this process, and similar to making tax digital with VAT, you've got to authorize the software to act on the behalf of the client, okay? And if I go back, you're seeing one we have. So once you've done that authorization successfully, all this data that you see here comes from HMRC. Okay, so that's a self-employment business, that's the UK property business, and that could be foreign property. Okay, a lot of the information you'll see, like deadlines, that's pulled from HMRC. So a lot of people may have some issues with that. It's not the software vendor's fault. And frustratingly, you'll probably be pointed back to HMRC to have discussions about that as well. But when you have your client information, there's a few things that you will do, okay? You will need to decide whether they want to do calendar or quarter election, which will help your reporting period when you do your submissions. And also you would choose whether you want them to do a consolidated reporting, which is if their turnover is under £90,000, or if it's over, then you have to do the reporting based on categories. Okay. Now, so this is where you can see the tax return. So each year you just add, similar to the existing process, we just create a new tax return, and that form will enable you to start doing those quarterly filings. Okay. Now, this is just a bit of a submission dashboard, and it can be quite overwhelming if you have lots of clients to submit for. But we are going to continue to build out report configurations, because there's lots of feedback that we've got, is to be able to refine this view based on Q1 submissions, Q2 submissions, which have been submitted, which are due, which are overdue, just so you as an accountant can see what you need to do straight away when you log into the product. Okay. Now, going back to this client, a few things which you can see on a per client level is you'll be able to see the transactions linked to that client. That should hypothetically populate this dashboard and with some great data and insight. It's not looking great at the moment, but it is a work in progress. What we have released, and I do have to give credit to HMRC for, is that they've released a self-assessment account API. Okay, so in that, you'll be able to pull in the client's information which they have on HMRC relating to payments. It talks about the payment on accounts, how much has been paid in the previous tax year. You can see the financial information. You can see the return history, and you can see if there's any amendments to that as well. And also, you can see about coding notices as well. So if you want your self-assessment to be collected through PAYE, you can do that. You'll be able to see that now within software as well. A lot of our accountants were saying it's quite a frustrating experience that they've got to log out of the software, log back into Capium to log back into HMRC to be able to advise their clients about their financial position. Okay, so now you'll be able to do this within the product. Now, I'm just going to talk about what the first submission would look like and kind of talk you through some of these kind of screens. So there is 5 submissions really that you've got to do. It's 4 per employment stream, but in this case, you'll have to do 10 submissions for this client here. But there's also one that's called adjustment and allowances. Okay. You need to update that before you even can create and submit your final submission. I'll touch upon that later, but there is a particular flow that HMRC want you to follow when you're doing your final submission or your self-assessment return, depending on what you want to call it. Okay, so if you're looking now at, this is the first quarterly submission, okay? You can do as many Q1 submissions as you like. If you want to do on a day-to-day basis, a weekly basis, or a monthly basis, that is completely fine and possible, okay? Now, the way you do it at the moment, you can either upload it via template, which is a CSV file, and if I'm able to show that. Can everyone see that CSV template? I'm just quickly going to check. Yep, is that a yes? Or maybe. So I've had a few discussions with accountants when they're talking about how do they tackle the problem of digital record keeping. They're just going to give their clients this spreadsheet. And if their clients can't record the transaction on the spreadsheet, then maybe they shouldn't be their client for much longer. That was their words, not mine. But you can give them this spreadsheet for them to record information on and share back to you as the accountant, and for you to populate. We've also been told that people would like to make that spreadsheet have the customer's logo on that. And that's, again, like a few things, a work in progress. But so that's, if I go back to the digital records. So also, that's just one method of doing I was going to say VAT return, the MTD return. But you're also going to be able to import from our Capium 365 product, which has receipt scanning, invoice scanning, bank reconciliation, or the existing bookkeeping module where you can give your clients free access to the product. One of the discussions I've been having again with accountants is they don't feel like they have that many choices to offer their clients, especially maybe those who might be cost sensitive about digital record keeping. Everybody must get onto a bookkeeping software, and we don't believe that's correct. It might be the most efficient way for clients to have their data recorded and reviewed, but again, as I showed, you can just give them a simple spreadsheet for them to populate, or they could use a bookkeeping product to pull that in to the filings and submit that to HMRC. As you can see here, this we would assume this client, their turnover is over £90,000. So the breakdown of expenses and income is done on a category basis. Okay, if they were under £90,000, it would just be free line accounting. Okay, so that's all you'd be submitting to HMRC. You'd also then get a profit and loss summary year to date, which you can share to your client or for them to understand. We have had discussions about whether each quarterly submission should be sent to the client for approval. Okay, people may disagree with that. Our conclusion is that's not really necessary, because actually you can make a Q1 update because it's cumulative. You can make the changes in Q2, Q3, Q4. You can also do an adjustment at the year end as well. So really the most important, and I think the necessary approval would be for the final submission. You can, if you want, get that quarterly update approved, but because it doesn't really give you the whole picture for that individual's kind of tax position, I wouldn't say it's a necessity. Now, just to retrieve obligations, this is the information that is pulled from HMRC about the filing dates. Again, please ignore the dates in there. It's just coming from HMRC Sandbox API, but this gives you a bit of an understanding of the deadlines that you will be working towards, and then the due date from there. Now, if I go back to submissions, okay, and I'm just going to quickly show you the final submission process as well. Now, this is something that I don't think a lot of software vendors have seen, or I haven't heard of, but what does that final tax return process look like? We are going to do our utmost to mirror what the existing SA100 form feels like, or the process feels like. So you will be able to build out an SA302 in that as well, so you could share that to the client. We're looking to add other existing features that we have or are well known: dividends calculator, self-assessment questionnaire, in order to populate this. But all of this information now, instead of you submitting a form to HMRC on the XML file, is all done via APIs. Okay, so before you can start your final submission, you've just got to do adjustment and allowances. It kind of is a fifth submission in a way, because you have to submit this information before you can do the final submission. Okay, now moving on, you've done your 4 quarterly submissions, but if you need to amend any of that information, you do so here. Okay, those are the original values, you edit the amended values, and again, that information gets shared to HMRC. So HMRC have so many more data points coming in about that client. You're also going to be able to import a trial balance for those sole traders as well, to help you populate some of these boxes or income streams that I'm going to slowly go through now. So as you can see, there's other income, dividends, saving, everything you would expect to see in the SA100. The payments, I didn't really touch upon, but employments. A few of you might be familiar with HMRC Connect and how that sometimes that data is intermittent, and you have to wait till October or November for the PAYE information to pull through from that. supposedly this information will now be real time from HMRC about the individual's employment income. The reason why they want that real time information is so that you can get an up-to-date or an accurate tax calculator view. Okay, so similar to the SA100 form, you just keep on populating all this information. And now this is the tax calculator view. This is something that has brought through quite a lot of consternation amongst people who we've been working through on the pilot scheme so far. What there is a fear of that each time you tweak some of this information, you're sharing this to HMRC, and the more tweaks you do, the more the likelihood, or increasing the likelihood, that HMRC may be like, something's fishy going on, we may investigate that client. So we are going to give two options to, and I believe quite a few other softwares are doing this as well, two options to the accountant. A is to switch off the API or all the APIs in the final submission, so you can play around with it without any information going to HMRC, and then also giving you a kind of Capium tax estimate. So all the information you put in based on the current, budget or the financial situation, it will be able to give you a kind of a tax estimate. Okay, so you see there's two APIs here that HMRC shares to you. One is the tax year to date, which is based on the quarterly submissions you've done so far, and the other one is the kind of final tax estimate. Okay, now this is where you should get your client approval. Okay, we will be enabling our users to send this information to your client to get sign off. Okay, once you've got this tax estimate from HMRC, this is almost like your final tax position. The client needs to approve that. Then you can move on to the final declaration. But a couple of other things as well that HMRC are saying that is helpful is that they'll provide some validations based on your self-assessment return or information you put in, but also this tool called HMRC Assist, where based on previous submissions you've done and other information you input, they'll suggest some prompts for you to review. Okay, this they say is to help you improve your accuracy of your return. Then you move on to the final declaration. I'm not sure. Okay, I can't move on to the final declaration, but that's literally just a paragraph saying the information that I've submitted is true and correct, and that my client agrees with that. And then you click submit, and that's the SA100 filed. Okay, and a couple of things that I just quickly want to address as well. Bear with me 1 second. So through Capium software, you can do quarterly submissions, you can do year-end submissions. It doesn't matter where you do your quarterly filings on. Because of the APIs that HMRC have, you can pull that information from the quarterly filings and do your tax return. So if you've been used to doing your quarterly filings in one software and then your end of year filings in another one, that process can continue. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the demo for now, but there is still work in progress. As I said, we're going to build in the client approval flow, essay questionnaire as well, and hopefully, making it even more user-friendly than our existing self-assessment product. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. I don't know if anyone has any questions for Nick, whether they're existing users or users of another software, but I know you mentioned a few kind of overall insights there, Nick, and I know the kind of the so-called fifth submission, it was kind of quite good for you to kind of look at that. But I suppose in terms of the contact that you have and the view that you have of other accountants or bookkeepers across the industry, is there any kind of common themes that maybe members can relate to in terms of, how ready are some people than others, or is there anything that you could share with us?
I'm really pleased that you brought that up, because I'm going to sound like so many other people who have who have said this before. I was initially frustrated with HMRC about the pilot scheme and the rollout of this. But their new, I think, is it Nick Olive? Craig Olive, sorry. He has been refreshing to work with, to be honest, and they've been hitting their deadlines constantly. And the one thing is a constant, that people who have signed up on the pilot scheme with us, who have partook in that process with us, even for one client, instantly feel a lot more confident and comfortable with what they have to do. Otherwise, it's just an unknown. So my first takeaway is pick a client to join a pilot scheme on, just so you understand the workload that is involved, and start thinking about which methods are these clients going to use from a digital record keeping aspect as well. And the other thing is fear. I think the constant sharing of all these data points to HMRC accountants are quite worried about that, especially when you may see your client on a monthly basis and where you evaluate their tax position, you may be given different advice to kind of reduce their tax liability. And the one thing, again, I think everyone's trying to do is switch off those APIs. So you can actually have a tool that you can play around with without kind of sending unnecessary warnings to HMRC.
Okay. We have one more question. Someone asking about cost in terms of how much does it cost monthly. I mean, we can share that, but Capium is a member benefit. So if you went to the IAB website, I can send you a link. There's details of pricing and also kind of applied discounts as well. And there's also a free trial, if I recall. But Nick and the Capium team are really great at sorting a demo out for you or asking any questions. So I can share that with you in the chat.
I was just going to add, at the moment, the MTD IT product isn't commercially available. Right now, whoever is our customer, if there are any customers on this call, and you sign up to the pilot scheme, we handhold you through the kind of registration process and using our product, because we're learning just as much as you are from that as well. But yeah, as Sam said, you can find out more information from our website.
Absolutely, I'm sure everyone's at kind of different stages, so it's quite good to kind of hear your perspective from an industry point of view. And obviously, if anyone's got any other comments to share, please put them in the chat. But as time is ticking on, thank you very much, Nick. That was really insightful. Thank you. I'll cross over to you, Matt, if you're able to share your screen.
I certainly am. I'm going to share my screen in just a second. But can I just say, great presentation, Nick, and it just goes to remind me when I watch things like that about how complicated and complex the type of work that you guys do can be. And so for me, as an external person looking in, I'm looking at that thinking, oh my goodness, my mind's getting completely blown by all this sort of stuff. But I imagine the same principles apply if I was to sit there and explain about what I do, how it works, the analysis process we go through, the fact finding, the risk analysis and all that sort of stuff, the structure of the plans we recommend. And I think therein lies the entire point of what we're talking about. So where Nick's system's designed to simplify that process for you, what we're trying to do is almost exactly the same thing. Now, anyone that saw me a couple of months back when I did the original Coffee Morning knows I had a complete disaster with technology. My internet went down. I was trying to do a demo of the new system we've built. But the good news is I am not going to be doing a demo for you, which is really, really good. Instead, I'm just going to be sharing my screen with you. I've got a little PowerPoint presentation. Can everybody see that on the screen? Hopefully. Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, all I'm going to do is just basically say, if you don't know who I am, my name's Matt Chapman. I'm the commercial director at Company Protection. So we specialize in what we call business continuity plans for company owners. So you may have heard it referred to as business protection before. You may have heard the examples of it, such as shareholder protection or loan protection or even relevant life plans. What we try and do is simplify that and put it in the sense that customers can understand exactly what we're talking about and why we need to do it. So every customer that comes to you guys for bookkeeping services or accountancy services has a goal and a vision in mind. In fact, the very two first questions we ask every client we ever speak to is, why did you go into business and what are your plans for the business? And then our job is to make sure they can realize those objectives and those goals that they've got. Now, I know the IAB is doing amazing work to help members like you grow your practices. I saw the resources that have been shared in the chat today, and I think that's incredible. Helps you guys understand what you can do to scale your practice, move away from this idea that it's just you working on your own to how can I grow and expand and build something valuable. But today I want to tell you about something incredibly simple that's hopefully going to help you do just that. A tool that's going to help you add value for your clients, strengthen your relationships, and hopefully open up new income streams for all of you, but without you needing to learn anything new, without you needing to try and understand or comprehend what it is we do, and hopefully without you feeling the need that you need to even sell anything, okay? So let's think about the big challenge for a minute. Like, we know that most practices are absolutely brilliant at what they do, but naturally we all hit that kind of growth ceiling, don't we? We reach a point where, there's only so much any one person can do in a day. Then your income and your time ultimately come capped as to what you can take on in terms of workload. And it can feel hard to find something that sort of fits naturally into your existing work that's going to allow you to earn more. But what if I was to show you a very simple way that you can do that without doing any more work, without any more legwork? And that's exactly what we've tried to build for you guys. And as Sam explained earlier, this was built entirely with feedback from ambassadors and from other members, so that we knew that whatever we were going to do was hopefully going to land really, really well. And I'll tell you in just a second something that really interesting happened to me last night, which should hopefully give you a bit of confidence in what we're doing. But this is designed to help you add more value, introduce this idea of additional services that are very much aligned to what it is you're trying to do, but without you needing to learn anything, without you needing to pitch anything, without you needing to sell anything. Because I know there's a stigma. I get that, right? I know there's a natural stigma when it comes to things like insurances, that everyone thinks it's a sales process. All we are trying to do is put plans in place to ensure your clients could achieve their financial objectives. That is it. We're all about resilience, business resilience, and nothing more. But what we've built, we're going to help you to revolutionize how you have those conversations with your clients. So rather than you trying to have to find ways to introduce it or pitch it to customers, all we're talking about is a simple system that's going to allow you to identify the risks in the business without you needing to do anything. The system's going to do all the heavy lifting for you. So we've developed something called the Business Resilience Check. And I'll tell you something really interesting that happened to me last night. I got a phone call from one of our competitors in the insurance industry. So one of our main competitors that does exactly what we do. And they'd heard about this system that we built called the Business Resilience Check and the Referral Hub. And they came to me and had a meeting with me and asked if they could license it off me. Because what they've had is a couple of people go through the process, explain how amazing it was, and then they've tried to license the software off me to be able to do it themselves. So that's my biggest competitor coming to try and borrow the software off me. So it goes to show this works. It's completely free for you to use, completely free for your clients to use. And all it does in just 90 seconds, it generates a detailed report that helps your customer understand whether they've got high, medium, or low risk in certain key areas, the key areas that we know will impact their ability to achieve their business goals. That's it. Now, the best part about all of this is you guys don't even need to know anything about what we do. You don't need to understand the risks. You don't have to explain it to the customer. All you've got to do is let the tool do all the heavy lifting for you, because it asks the right questions, it prompts the customer to give responses, and it's so simple to use. What it really is designed to do is bridge that knowledge gap between what we do and the customer, so that you don't have to have that conversation. You don't need to get involved in the detail, okay? Now, there's two simple ways that our clients, our referral partners, are currently using it. And I wanted to explain the two, because listening to the kind of conversations I've had with ambassadors previously, and some of you who are members who've been very supportive of what we do, it's clear to me that there's two different types of approach. And all I'd say to you is there's no right or wrong answer. It's whichever one feels most comfortable for you. In terms of passive, what we've got some IAB members and some other referral partners that we work with. And all they typically do is send a link out to their customer. They bring up the subject of resilience with the business. They send a link out to the customer. They wait for the client to complete the check themselves. And all they do is they simply encourage the client to book in with us if there's any identified risks. That's how simple it is. You could literally say to a customer, we're working with a company. They've developed a really cool check that gives you a free report. I'm going to send you a link. Let me know what you think. That's it. That's all you've got to do, and send the link out. And that link connects back to you directly. Any reports that come through, any completions will be aligned directly to your account, and you'll be able to track those referrals. So literally no heavy lifting. The other is the more proactive approach that some of our clients take on our referral partners. Well, what they do is they actually discuss, as part of either their onboarding or their regular review process with their clients, about financial resilience and the customer's business goals, which I imagine many of you are probably doing anyway when you're having these wider accountancy or bookkeeping conversations. And all you do then is essentially invite your client into a consultation with you where you walk them through the check. So you can just read the questions off the screen, walk them through, and you do it hand in hand. Now, what we've found is, and the reason I'm explaining this is, those partners that we work with who proactively walk clients through the check see the strongest results. It helps cement their relationship with the customer, but what it also does, it's far more likely to lead to a consultation with us because it comes from you as a trusted recommendation, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you about what's happened in the last week. This is literally last week. One of our referral partners has started using the business resilience check with their clients, and they sent through 5 solid referrals last week. Now, to give you an idea, we pay on average £945 per successful referral. So this referral partner could make upwards of £5,000 just from using this check last week with their clients in 1 week. And this is happening up and down the country. We're working with IFAs, accountants, commercial brokers, commercial solicitors, bookkeepers, all sorts of different partner firms. And they're using this tool because it is literally so simple to do. You've only got to have a conversation with the client, send them a link. And when it comes through, we'll do all the heavy lifting. We'll do all the risk analysis. But they've got a report that makes them want to have a conversation with us because they understand the risks and how it impacts their business and what they're hoping to achieve. But what we've decided to do is make it as simple as humanly possible, right? So we've built this referral hub. Those of you who came on last time, hopefully you saw a bit of a glimpse of it. Hopefully you managed to get to see some of it. But what it does, it allows you to then track the referrals that have been created off the link you've got. It gives you access to video guides, scripts, techniques, FAQs, anything you need. We've got a commission calculator on there as well, so you can work out what you might be able to earn just by referring your customers over to us in a very simplistic way where you're adding value. So if you're looking to scale your practice, if you're trying to take advantage of the resources the IAB have put in place to help you grow your practice, that commission calculator is a fantastic way for you to work out what you need to do or how you need to work with us in order to facilitate that growth and that scale within your practice. Okay? But the key to this one is we've designed this to make referrals completely transparent, completely professional, and very easy for you to do. You don't need to be a product expert. You don't need to sell anything. You don't need to talk protection. You just need to encourage the customer to do something that's in their best interest, which is to complete a check that's going to let them know if there's any key risks in their business that could impact their potential. That's easy to do, and that's why people are using it. All I would say is, and the most important thing I'd encourage all of you to do, and if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to put the link in the chat right now, assuming I can actually get onto Zoom. Bear with me. Juggling different screens here, guys, so it's a bit of a challenge. Bear with me. I'll put it towards the end. Let's do it towards the end. That might be the easiest way of doing it. But all I would say is if you guys just register with us, if everyone on this call could please click the link I put in the chat at the end and just get registered with us. It's completely free to register with us. We're not going to bombard you or hassle you. All we're going to suggest is when you're ready, let us know and we will set up a tour for you. So when you're ready and you've got the headspace and you're not that busy and you want to have a chat with us, I'll walk you through how to use the system and I'll teach you how to generate these referrals. But the key to registering with us is really important because as soon as you register with us, we're going to send out a free welcome pack to you. You get a free welcome pack just for signing up, completely free. It's got some nice little gubbins in it and you'll get it completely free for registering with us. And then you'll also be invited to what Sam was saying a minute ago, which are these monthly workshops that I do. And they're on the last Friday of every month. And all I'll be there to do is to support you. And then when you're ready, jump on a call with me. I'll do a one-to-one tour for you. I'll do a personal demo and I'll guide you through how to use the system to your advantage. It takes literally 20 minutes to walk you through it. You can ask me any questions you want to, and I'll be able to show you how you can have that maximum impact. I'll teach you how to identify opportunities in your client list, and I'll help you to scale your practice completely effortlessly with zero risk and zero sales processes. Okay, so all you need to do. So all I'd say is register today. We'll send out your welcome pack, and then when you're ready, jump on a call with me, and I'll walk you through how the process works. And like I say, it doesn't stop there. We're doing these fantastic little partner workshops. They're about 20 minutes long. We open the floor up to questions. We've had great feedback so far. I believe Karen, who's on the call, I think Fardy's on the call as well. Both of those have been on one of them recently. And what we do is last Friday of every month, we get everyone to a call and I teach you how to take advantage of these opportunities, things you can say, positioning support, helping you overcome some of the barriers or challenges that might stop you from doing this. I'll even help you potentially look at your customer database and identify those that might be most appropriate to speak to and how to even bring it up in the first place. We've got a session on the 31st of October, so everyone who's registered will be invited along to that, and that's how to generate your first referral. Super easy, and you could potentially, like I say, make up to £945 or more just by doing that, okay? So how to get started today. If you guys want a tip that you can take away from this session, I'd say keep it super simple, right? The first thing I would say is where we really help is where you've got clients who have got limited companies. It doesn't matter if it's a one-man band limited company, 100% shareholder ownership, or if it's got multiple employees, because all of those people have a separate legal entity that we can use to create tax-efficient insurance options. So for example, if you asked your clients a simple question such as, would you be interested in saving tax and saving money by transferring the cost of your life cover or your income cover over to the business? And they say yes, that's all you've got to do. And that's exactly what we do to help. So if there's one way that you can start today that's going to help you earn more money, boost your practice and allow you to scale, but add value to your customers, very much aligned to what it is you do, it's helping your customers to save tax, save money, because they can transfer the cost of their life insurance and their income cover over to the limited company, and we can set that up in a highly tax efficient way for you. Okay. Right. So next thing, before we wrap up, all I would say is register today for your free welcome pack. In fact, let me try and put it in the chat right now, because I'm pretty sure I've got the option to do so. If I can, there we go, chat. Can everyone just confirm that you can see that? Register in the chat. Anyone that wants to do it before we finish today, click that link, get yourselves registered, and then when you've got time and you're ready, reach out to me directly, book yourself in for that one-to-one onboarding call, and I'll guide you through how to use the system. I'll teach you how to do it. And then anyone that registers today has the option as well for joining the free workshop we've got in 2 weeks' time. Make sure you turn up to that one. It's going to be brilliant. I'll be using exactly what we've just talked about to really help you generate opportunities and revenue from your business clients. And then any limited company owners that you've got that you know of, just ask them if they want to save money or save on their tax bill, which I'm pretty sure everybody wants to do, right? I'm pretty sure everyone on this call would like to save money and save tax. So it's a worthwhile conversation to be having where you can add value. And like I say, once you've registered, you'll have your own unique link, which accesses the check. You can send that to anyone. You can put it on social media. You can send it in WhatsApp messages. You can send it out in emails. You can do campaigns to your customers. You can do it as part of your meetings. Either way, that resilience check will provide you and the client with a very detailed report about their level of risk, and it will create that opportunity within your referral tracker so you can keep an eye on what's going on and help that customer get the guidance that they need. And with that, Sam, I'm pretty much going to finish there. If anyone's got any questions, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. A few have come through, but just to give people time to answer a few more, I thought it was really interesting in terms of what you said in terms of people kind of like hit that bit of a ceiling from a scalability point of view.
Yes.
And obviously time's an issue. So this really helps in terms of, it's quick, it's quite simple, and you can either, like you say, you can be actively, following a kind of progressive path for renewal, or just send the link on. And Sarah talks about that, as you said, in the scalability course, you kind of like time, hit ceiling, how can you progress? So I think, that's the main reason we wanted Matt to come and speak to everybody, really, in terms of this is a really easy, efficient way for you to potentially drive additional revenue streams.
You know what it is, Sam? Sorry, I don't mean to interject. I was going to say that I think half the problem, and this is the experience I have, is when you're doing these types of things and you want to transcale your business, the hardest thing is thinking, I've got to go outside my comfort zone. Right? That's the hardest thing. It's like, I've got to go outside my comfort zone and do something that isn't familiar, that I'm not sure, I've never done it before. And that's exactly why we built what we've done, Sam, because we know that in order for someone to be able to go outside their comfort zone, the best thing we can do is make it super simple, to make it really, really easy for them so that they can just do something without having to think about it, without having to get into realms of detail. So if anyone's thinking, like you say, Sam, that they want to do this, but the hardest thing is that fear that they're going outside the comfort zone, just try it. Try it with one customer, see how easy it is. Speak to someone like Karen or Fadi who've been doing it themselves, and just get that guidance from them about how they might position it with the customer. Because when we've seen people go through it, it becomes super easy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sam.
No, it's fine. I guess really it's just for a reassurance, because obviously many members have got clients who they've worked with for quite a long time, and even sending the link over if you've had a conversation, then maybe they're worried that when it's passed over to your side, they're kind of like thrown into that state, because it's obviously not going to be you that's going to speak to every single person that's kind of, recommended. So it's just a reassurance with it. It's not a kind of hardcore pitch when it's recommended over the other side.
We are not salespeople. We are far from salespeople. We are a professional advice firm. Okay. So it's really important to understand we don't sell anything. In fact, I'll give you an interesting statistic, Sam, if this helps. Right. So when we speak to customers who go through this process and end up in front of one of our consultants, 75% of them take everything that we recommend. Because when we recommend something, we make it very clear to the customer why it's in their best interest and why we're doing what we're doing. It's nothing about selling insurances and everything to do with what's the customer's goal for that business. Whether it's, are they passing it on to their kids? Are they selling it? Are they doing a management buyout? What is their primary goal? Bearing in mind that everyone on this call probably derives income from their business. Every business client you've got probably derives income from their business. That income pays for their mortgage, their holidays, their lifestyle, their bills, their food, their drink. So everything pertains back to how successful and resilient someone's business is, regardless, right? No one goes into business for fun. We do not sell insurance products. What we do is build financial resilience. That's it. So they won't get a hardcore sales pitch from us. Our advisors do not pester people. In fact, we'd prefer it for you to tell us how and when to contact the customer in a way that works for you and that customer. We'd much rather you bridge the gap than tell us, oh, I've got this lead, you go and call them. We'd much rather you come on the call if you want to and just do an actual introduction so that we can add some value and you can see how it is we work. We are not salespeople at all. At all.
I just think it was really, it's really, I know that, but I think it's probably a bit of a concern maybe from some people. And, we're talking about scalability here, but obviously not everyone may want to scale their business. I suppose it's just enhancing client service. If you've worked with somebody for a long time, a lot of people have got long-standing clients. It's going that, that little bit extra to make sure that their business is resilient as possible, which is, great service.
Start small, Sam. Start small. Just try it with one. Try it with one, see how you feel about the service we offer, how the process feels for you. And then if you're confident, you're happy and you want to carry on, carry on. But, you don't have to do it to every client, but try it, see how you feel, see what the process looks like, see how happy your clients are. I mean, we've got a 5-star FIFA rating with every client we've ever spoke to. So every review we've got a 5-star rating because we're not about selling insurance products, far from it. We're about understanding why the customer's in business and how we help them reach that goal that they've got. But thank you. Yes, sorry.
Thanks. No worries. I was just going to say at this point, I'll just nip over to the questions and to the chat, really. So I'm sure you've had time to look at it quite, Nick, but there's lots of thank yous to Nick about the presentation. It's descriptive and useful. So thanks again, Nick, for that. Also, I did drop the link in for Capium. People want to visit that via the benefits area on the IAB website. Please remember to log in to see the IAB Capium dual page. Which is great. Somebody has asked, Matt, whether this is applicable to Jersey and Channel Islands.
Yes, we do have providers that can provide services there as well. It's worth registering, and then what we'll do is we'll look into various different options. But absolutely, we've got providers that offer cover over there as well.
Someone's saying the link isn't working.
Yeah, I've put it back in the chat for Lauren. I think. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that'll work. Any problems, Lauren, let me know. Just reach out to me directly. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put my email in the chat, and then if you want to contact me directly, we can always do it in the back office way if that's easier. So feel free to reach out to me. That's
great. Karen, obviously you've mentioned Karen, who's been helped you in this process, but just
superstar.
Supporting, saying it's a great system that you've created, gives a lots of flexibility on how to broach the subject with clients. So that's great. Thank you for that feedback, Karen. Matt, do the referred clients have to pay a fee? They may ask how much it would cost them.
No, we don't charge anything at all. We only get paid when we successfully put suitable plans in place for clients. So we're paid by the insurance companies who obviously then don't have to employ advisors and don't have admin teams. So no, essentially there are no fees to pay here. And at the end of the day, there's no pressure to do anything. All we're there to do is just generate the risks, explore them with the customer, explain what the consequences might look like, offer them solutions. And then if they're happy, they proceed. And that's when we get paid. And that's when you get paid.
Excellent. Any more questions for either Matt or Nick? Obviously, we will follow up on the 31st being the next session that you're doing, Matt. So we'll remember to share that as a reminder. But I'm sure that if you register, you will get a reminder anyway. But we'll put that out across socials so people can remember.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, that's great. Right then, everyone. Now, on the basis that there's no more questions, we can draw this session to a close. But thank you to our speakers once again. Really insightful presentations.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, team, for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Take care, guys.